Hello, and welcome to Notes in 9. I'm David Leedy, and this is an extended edition. Extended Episode 5, XPages Meets Social Media, a walkthrough. Okay, before we get started, I do have a couple announcements this show. The first one is that the XCast podcast has relaunched. It can be located at thexcast.net, and Tim Clark is breathing new life into it, and we're going to do a whole bunch of new shows for 2011, and he's asked Paul Withers, who's pictured here, and myself to join him. There's no picture for me because there just wasn't enough room on the slide to fit it in. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue to talk about XPages all the time. So I don't know how many shows we're going to put out. We're going to put out whenever we can, and we feel we have something worthwhile to contribute to the community. And I'm looking forward to it, and I'm very honored to have been asked to be on there. So now Tim Clark and Paul Withers, they're much better developers than I am. I'm kind of like more the intermediate kind of guy, and they're the super developers. But I've got the American accent, and they don't. So that kind of like levels the playing field for us. So we're looking to have a lot of fun with it. So tune in, and we're going to have another show from Lotusphere. We're going to try and do a live show, and we'll publish that as soon as we can, and try and keep it going. Okay, next up is the XPages cheat sheet. If you've ever seen the blueprint cheat sheet or a cheat sheet on PHP or CSS or HTML or so, that's what the goal of the XPages cheat sheet was. Basically, I decided that we needed one ourselves. I mean, why not? XPages is as good as anything else out there, so we should have our own cheat sheet. So I made this, though I don't take credit for the content. I pulled from xpageswiki.com. I pulled from blogs. I had a lot of help from friends reviewing it and editing it. So again, this is a true community project in my mind. There's going to be many copies available at Lotusphere if you're there. If not, you can download it from the xpag.es/?cheat sheet link that you can see on the slide. There are two formats. There's an 8.5 by 11 and there's an 11 by 17. It's kind of designed to be on the 11 by 17 originally, printed both sides, but I did do an 8.5 by 11 for people who don't have big printers like I don't. So there you have it. So I hope you find it valuable. Okay, today I'm very excited. We've got a great guest speaker coming on, Chris Connor, who's a wonderful XPage developer. He's a consultant and an OpenNTF contributor. He's got a company website at bssuk.net, and his blog is one of the ones that I go to a lot, www.xsptalk.com, and that's just a great name. I do kind of like that one. And he's on Twitter and Skype. And what he's going to talk about today is he's going to kind of like do a walkthrough of, I believe, the app that runs his company's homepage, which has like some social media kind of hooks, some hooks into different feeds and some aggregators and things like that. So he's going to kind of walk through the website first and then go through Designer and show how some of these things were built. And I believe we're going to do more than one show on this topic. I'm trying to get him to do some other ones as well. And there's a lot of nuggets in there. So as he goes through the code or so, there's a lot of good code to see. So there you go. So thanks for coming on, Chris, and take it away.
Thank you, David, for giving us the opportunity to talk to everyone about how you can build a CMS framework to deliver social media websites with XPages. My name's Chris Connor from a company called BSS IT Solutions. Okay, today's agenda, if you like, we'll start off first of all by doing a quick overview of the site, walking through the site, looking at the various links, the general structure of the site, moving on to describe a little on custom controls, how they're used and how they fit in with a CMS type framework. We'll then move on to look at more of the social media aspects of a CMS and show you how we use XPages to build a news area, a media area, how we integrate YouTube, how we point into the standard Domino blog which comes with Notes in Domino, how we point into that and pull out data that's been published there and present it in a kind of nice Web 2 type way, along the lines, I suppose, a little of the Twitter widget you see so often. used. Begin looking at the news and management area, and then we'll delve into some of the XPages techniques and features that are used out of the box, very simple, such as custom controls and repeat controls as well. Okay, so straight over into Chrome. Okay, so as you can see, it's a fairly standard looking website. Page is centered in the middle. You have a header section, a subheader section which contains various links, a body if you like, and then at the bottom of the site you get a footer as well. And as you click through the various links on the subheader, some of the sort of content, the body changes, but in the main the look and feel and the header, subheader and footer, they all stay in place. Now the first thing that I can talk to you about there is that we're using custom controls in XPages to make sure that you can deploy one single design element and use it throughout the website basically. So if we had to change the subheader, add a link or change colours or whatever, then that can be done in one place and it runs through the whole site. The XSP talk link is simply a link which launches into a new window, blog site. Contact page, fairly simple as well. It has contact information and a submit button as well. So back to the home page. As you can see, it's laid out in a fairly kind of friendly manner. And the first area I'd like to talk to you about is this this widget, if you like, which is a custom control which points directly into the Domino blog template and pulls from a view a bunch of blog documents. Moving in throughout the site again, solution and services area, that's another separate X page. You can see the name of the URLs changing at the top. Some basic text and some link to further X pages at the bottom, and some social media icons at the bottom as well. These are again another custom control that are deployed throughout the site, so we can drop these icons in at any particular point of the design. And again, if we wanted to add one, change one, remove one, point it to a different area, it's all doable very quickly using a repeated custom control basically. Moving into the news and media section, we've got a simple framework where we have again another repeat control pointing at a view, and the view has a heading, body text if you like, and a graphic, and these are just documents in a view that have been pulled from a repeat control, nice and simple. On the right hand side, what we've got again is this custom control which holds the various social media icons, and we've got an embedded YouTube feed which allows us to publish YouTube videos and such like straight into the page. Okay, so as you can see, the site is pretty simple in design. One other area I should maybe mention is that the latest news and media section again has a separate custom control we've developed, which is a simple ticker, and that points into the same view again to pick up the same list of documents, so when we're updating the news section, that feeds through to the main screen as well. Okay, so back to the agenda. What I'll do now is look at the news section in Domino Designer and show you how that's built. Now, as you can see, it's a simple standard X page. simple data source defined pointing to a view name called all news within the current database, and I've got a table set up, and in the repeat control here we're building a row and setting up some documents, basically to pull together the date the document was published, and in the individual documents showing the header text and building links to each document. Basically, like, all we're using is we're launching the news.xsp X page and giving it the parameter document ID equals, and using the getDocument.getUniversalID. This technique's documented in many places throughout the internet, wikis and such like. Pretty simple to do. As you can see further down, we're then pointing to the image, which is a similar technique again, getting handle to the document, getting its universal ID. I guess it's sort of old style DOM technique, pointing to $file and getting the attachment name, which is stored in a field called attachment name, and opening that up. So that's where we're getting the images in the news page. Okay, back to news media section. So these are the images here that we're pointing to each of the documents, and this is the actual document in question itself. So if I click on the more, opens up a simple document. Again, it has the heading, when the document was published, the image we discussed just a second ago, and then some basic text. Go back to all news items. Now what I'll show you now is the X page in question that delivers the news item. Okay, again, the data source, form names document, we have the heading, which is again employed all the way through each X page on the site, and then we have a table, which is basically returning a subject here, document published, the image in exactly the same way as in the last X page, and then the body text. Very simple. Okay, now I'd like to show you the home page. There's a little more going on in this, and in particular I'd like to show you how you're using the custom control here to surface data in a separate database. This is something I will make available on OpenNTF in a more modular fashion than has been used in this website. So the idea will be able to point this component into any of the Domino blog databases, irrespective of where the path is, and the text here will be customizable as well, so that you can drop it into your own social media website as an intranet or extranet application. Okay, one thing to notice is if I refresh the page, you see there's a slight effect going on there. Now that's a jQuery effect, which is basically a fade in. It can be done in a couple of lines. I'll just show you how that works as well. Okay, homepage. Start at the top. Got some metadata, the usual heading, and then the table structure that follows is actually just building a simple table structure to display the various pieces of text and graphics and links on the front page. Here we have the social media icons, custom control. But the one we're really interested in is the blog aggregator control. At the moment I'm not calling any parameters around this, but as I said, for the version that I'll put on OpenNTF, I'll be able to parameterize that so that you can call that from your own site and give it its own text and headings and point to the appropriate database as well. So if I then go into the blog aggregator, you'll see that we're employing some simple inline CSS, giving it some headings, giving it scroll bars, and then setting up a repeat control. This repeat control points to the view here in this database. So the view is website and the database is blog.nsf. As I said, I'll change that so you can point it to whichever. The repeat control then from each document picks out and builds some text in a nicely formatted manner using a creation field, subject and description, and then a link to the notes document in the destination database. Now this URL, again, it's a bit hardwired, but that can be changed. Is pointing to the blog.nsf, open up zero view, and then getting the document universal ID handle and opening it in traditional domino development fashion. And at the bottom we've got a footer as well. Again, the text in here at the moment is hardwired, but that will be customizable moving forward. Okay. Okay, so I've taken you through just now and delved into a few areas in some detail. I'll do a follow-up session to this, again with some further detail. In the meantime, if you want to contact me via email, website, blog, Twitter, Skype, Greenhouse, or even if you see me around in Lotusphere, give me a shout and we can have a chat. So thanks David, again for the opportunity to speak to everyone on your show, and speak shortly. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Well, if you have any questions for me, here's my contact information, and I thank you for your time.